Now welcome to another Let's Talk Some Bad Batch, where this time it is the 8th episode of Season 3, Bad Territory. And we will be discussing it by reading and responding to some of the comments left on my review on the other channel yesterday. But before we can do that, we have to start with your ever so brief review of this episode.
Well, I didn't like this one as much as the weeks prior. I still liked it. I don't want anyone to think I didn't like it. I just didn't feel like it pushed the story forward as much as I'd hoped. You know, I thought this visiting Fennec Shan thing could almost be like a 5-minute procedure, and instead it was an entire episode. I did enjoy seeing Omega and Crosshair starting to work through his issues, realizing it was most likely mental, which I kind of thought, but I also thought maybe it could have been a byproduct of the toxin that he got blasted with.
Yeah, I thought that was a solid theory.
Yeah. So it's just nice that they kind of confirmed it was definitely more mental than physical.
At least according to AZ. I mean, what
According
does he
to
know?
AZ, the medical type droid, yeah. I wish that they would do more to expand the characters of Hunter and Wrecker. I mean, we got a lot of Hunter. We know him very well from the earlier seasons. But Wrecker just feels like a one-note thing, like a one-trick pony.
I like him.
I'm strong and I demolitions. And they made sure to mention this episode, he's the demolitions expert. He's the demolition expert. All I did was both of them were underwater cutting a wire. I mean,
I know.
he isn't as much of an expert as they've only given us the impression of he likes to blow stuff up.
And to eat. Yeah.
And eat.
Yeah.
And be strong guy.
Yeah, he doesn't really have much characterization beyond that, unfortunately.
I mean, they kept calling him a demolitions expert, but this is like the only time we've ever even heard him referred to that way.
Maybe previously a time or two. I
don't know. He's just the guy who likes the explosives.
Yeah,
not
well,
like I can
expert.
disarm and. I mean, when you tell me demolitions expert, I think of this guy who can disarm crazy, complex
the bomb is counting down and he clips the right wire with 2 seconds
or
left
that
to
he could
go.
be the one that designs those things.
I don't think Wrecker
exactly.
could. Yeah,
demolitions expert is not the term. He's a demolitions enthusiast, let's say.
I like that. Yeah, I don't think Wrecker's building bombs. I don't think you should let him tamper
I think
with.
Hunter just pointed out which wire so that he didn't have to feel bad.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yes, demolitions enthusiast.
Enthusiast, yes. Good way to put it. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's get to the comments, and we will once again begin with the top-rated comment on my video over on the other channel.
First up from Emperor Bless. This week on The Bad Batch, Hunter and Wrecker go to Florida. Yes.
We needed a Florida man, though. I was expecting some crazy guy to come out of the swamp at some point.
No, they needed one at the shipyard when she's like, I need a ship. And they could have gone like, I got a deal for you on that ship there over there.
That's where we no offense to anybody from Florida.
But people from Florida know what we're talking about. Not everyone from Florida is a Florida man.
Thankfully, no. Otherwise, we'd have to quarantine that whole state. Mm-hmm. But no, I think the pit droids should have been replaced by a Florida man. That would have been great.
You needed a Florida man.
But no, yeah, it did feel kind of like Hunter and Wrecker go to Florida, which was fine. I mean, I don't think we've really seen too many bayou swamp planets in Star Wars before.
Not a lot.
But Dagobah isn't really like the bayou kind of thing. It's more just a swamp. I don't know. But
I do like that we had to talk about M count in the episode, and she's also talking about how she met Gunji. Just putting that out there.
Hey, we'll get to those things. You're getting ahead of yourself. All right, let's move on. Thank you for the fun comment, though.
Next comment from Danko Kemchevsky. Crosshair is the best character of the show. He has depth. By now, even Wrecker has more depth than Hunter, who is sadly underused. Omega's just too saintly. On another note, whatever is the issue with animating fighting in the dark? I remember the times when animation solved the issue more elegantly. It should be obvious to the watchers that it's dark without us actually straining our eyes to see. We are not supposed to struggle with seeing. Only characters are. I also disliked the mysterious conversation at the end that has been overused so much. Like, we know it's probably Asajj.
Yeah, they should have just showed us Asajj.
Yeah, give it up. They
do
probably
that a lot,
besties
though.
and
Like,
stuff.
it's the end of the episode. I'm going to contact somebody, and it's going to be like a garbled message, or they're going to have, some kind of voice modulation. It's Asajj. Come on.
Yeah. A good chance it's Asajj. I mean, the fact that Ventress doesn't take M-count missions, generally speaking, maybe because she's friends with Asajj, who look poorly on that.
Yeah, you mean Fennec doesn't take them.
Fennec
she
does.
said she hasn't taken any of those. Like, I was wondering if perhaps, and I threw this out in my own video, like, what if Asajj is after M-count because she's helping them escape? Part of the path already with with her boy.
I already thought that too. And I
Yeah,
thought
Quinlan
Cad
and
Bane
her.
would be a foil to that because he's already hunted M Count.
Yeah, he's an expert at.
He is.
He would know all about M
He used
count.
to
I
hunt
think.
babies for Palpatine.
Yeah,
literally hunting
yeah,
babies.
it was literally babies. Yeah,
I'm not even exaggerating or trying to be funny. He literally hunted babies
yeah. He
for
kidnapped
Palpatine.
babies for Palpatine. Yeah,
He knows a little something about M Count.
It's funny they never really went anywhere with that in Clone Wars, but I feel like it's all kind of part of Project Necromancer here. Mm-hmm. Like we always wonder, like, what does he do with the babies?
Between that and Project Inquisitor, I think he stocked Palpatine up pretty good. He's got like a fridge full of babies.
Oh, God, that's the creepiest thing you've ever said.
Is it?
Yes, among the creepiest at least.
Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, they kind of echoed your sentiments here about Wrecker. Needs a little more depth. He's Wrecker from Season 1, Episode 1. There's not, like, any difference there.
Well, and they've kind of dialed it back on Hunter, too, because now, like, they're like, no, we've
pushing
got Crosshair.
I know.
We can only push one clone a season.
Only one father figure.
Hunter was Season 1, Season 2 was Tech, and Season 3 is Crosshair. I'm sorry, Wrecker. I'm sorry.
So she's always pining for Echo to come back. You ever notice
Well, I'm
that?
always pining for Echo to come back and put him back in his comma.
That was so funny. Like, the first thing in this episode, like, oh, Echo's not coming. Like, of course Echo's not coming. He never shows up.
Of course.
Let's move on.
Next comment from Just Livin'. Last time Omega grew close to a member of the crew, we all got our hearts broken. I've got a bad feeling about this.
I'm telling you, Crosshair lives.
Maybe.
It's too obvious that they would have Crosshair, like, sacrifice himself, right?
Is it, though? The fact that they're playing him up means, I don't know, they're all a bunch of sacrificers.
Yeah,
Any
most
one of them
are
would
gonna
sacrifice themselves for Omega at this
Well, yeah.
point, honestly.
Even Omega would sacrifice herself for herself. That's the kind of saintly character she is.
I miss Tech.
Yeah, Tech was good. He was so good last
I was
season.
so sad when Fee
Brown
was
eyes.
like talking about. No, she called him Tech.
I know. I know that. I
feel
mentioned
like
that in
that's
my
a-
review. I was like, what the heck?
It's
She was
like she was distancing
oh, yeah.
herself because she was hurt.
Yeah, it could be.
I'm not referring to him by that thing she used to bring up emotions.
Yeah. She kind of just casually said his name, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess that's she's moved on.
Well, she is a pirate.
No, she's a liberator. I like that scene. I
She's
thought
got
that
a
was
man
good.
in every port.
Oh, come on now.
She's a pirate.
That doesn't mean she's like that. She was loyal to.
Ask Hondo what it
Tech.
means to be a pirate. He'll tell you.
Oh, he'll tell you a lot of stories about what it means to be a pirate.
Next comment from Linus. Can't they just look it up on Space Google what M count means, based on the fact that it's a known organelle, kinda? Yeah.
I would think so.
I don't know. Maybe maybe it's like something that was in the Jedi archives, and they didn't like tell regular people
it's
what
like-
M count meant, and that it stood for midi-chlorian. Maybe it's not a super common term.
I don't think the term might not be common, but you would really think like any biologist in the Star Wars galaxy would know what it feels like. It's such an integral part of like existence and life that biologists would know it. And why doesn't and someone else brought this comment up, but I don't think I clipped it out. Sorry, but why doesn't AZ know what midichlorians are?
Because they blocked it, just like they blocked his ability to translate Sith language.
Oh,
It's one of those things that the Senate probably blocked.
damn Senate! Always blocking that crucial information so that we have to go on a side
We
quest.
probably also blocked information about the Jedi at this point in time because
yeah.
the Empire would make rules about that. And,
Yeah, but AZ would have known about this before all that, right? No, he
but
wouldn't
he's
have,
not allowed
actually.
to. It's fine.
So they just wiped his memory of that and left everything else intact.
No, they just made it like a rule, like a broadcast across the Google, Space Google. all of the droids are like, oh, new orders. We can't talk, no Sith language. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2, no talking about Jedi or midichlorians or M count.
I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of in the camp that it's probably something you'd be able to find. I'm sure the Jedi weren't out there advertising like, hey, if you got a really high M count, you can use the Force.
Stop in. Get your blood tested today.
Get your test done today. See how well you can use the Force.
You go in to donate blood, and they're like, whoa, M
that's a
count,
high
guys.
M count.
M count.
Yeah, I don't know.
These are things we're not allowed to question.
Yeah, it kind of feels like something they wouldn't have that much trouble finding out about. I don't know. Maybe you disagree. That's fine.
Next comment is from our Discord server, Jedi from Coruscant. Another missed opportunity to include some Wrecker or Hunter development. You could have easily made Wrecker get angry that he's pushed around by Fennec and treated like he's dumb. He is less analytical than the other Bad Batch members, but maybe he wants to be. but no one ever offers to help him. Just an idea, but we've never really gotten any Wrecker development. His relationship was explored in season 1, but nothing that changes him. Otherwise, it was a fairly good episode, though.
Yeah, there was a lot of people bringing up the whole Wrecker thing.
He's one note. I'm gonna wreck it.
He's an enthusiast.
He's a demolitions enthusiast and the strong guy character.
Yeah,
who's also dumb.
But I think if you're gonna have these kind of episodes, which they do feel kind of less impactful for the overall story, you want to have better characterization or development in them.
This was a good opportunity to see him one-on-one with Hunter, to see them work together as a duo.
Well, we did. They disarmed bombs together.
To kind of just see more, though, to see their relationship.
Wouldn't it have been cool if, Hunter Wrecker had a moment where he's, was an expert, where he went under there and, had to come back up and explain, some jargon about, these are these type of bombs, Hunter, and if we don't do this... you're like, whoa, he does actually have some expertise.
Something that really showed that Hunter values him, that he is
an expert, not an enthusiast.
Yes, I would have appreciated that.
Yeah, I don't know. Something small could have been nice in this episode between those two. And I did think they had a couple good moments with Fennec, but it was more about, Fennec seeming like she was kind of inquiring about Omega, and you're like, is she trying to do that because, information is always valuable? Or is she doing it because she has, a genuine care and concern for Omega?
Because she wants to sell her to the Empire?
That's what I'm saying. Which one is it?
Both.
Which was kind of nice, because that just kind of builds, Fennec's character. Because we know down the road she's kind of a more... She's cutthroat, but she's loyal to Boba and all these things. So, I don't know. It was interesting.
She has a life debt. It's different. He's holding a kill switch for her organs.
Well, I have the off button to your stomach. So, you're going to do what I say.
Yeah.
All right. Next.
Paula Harvey says, Crosshair's dry voice and deadpan looks are everything. I absolutely love his and Omega's relationship. And him hearing that he's missed out on so many adventures with all of them really gets to him.
Yeah, there were many times.
And he's like, what now? And they're like, you weren't there.
What? No.
Yeah.
Who's he? What? What's going on?
Who's this? What now? It's interesting that, it does remind you that he's not been there, which is exactly what you need to be reminded of.
Yeah.
He's a member of the team, but he hasn't been there. He's been the one left behind, and it's nice to see that it does bother him now in hindsight.
Yeah, you're seeing his humanity kind of come forward in a way.
Mm-hmm. He's not going to go, hey, let me tell you about this trip I took where I went after Saw's rebels.
And I ordered some civilians executed?
Yeah.
But it was the chip in my head. It was malfunctioning at that time or something.
Even though I told you guys the chip never worked.
Yeah, even though it didn't work. They tried to crank it up to 11 and it didn't really work either. Maybe I shouldn't tell you that story. All right, let's move on.
Mm-hmm. Next comment from Solo. I think we're building up to a big hero moment for Crosshair where it's up to him to take an impossible shot and he'll be forced to confront his demons and finally get his precision back. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's going to stop and take a deep breath like Omega taught him to.
Yeah, he's going to meditate for a second, yeah.
And then he's going to bang. He's going to make the shot and it's going to be amazing. And everyone's going to be like, Crosshair's back. And
thanks for the little Omega-ish voice.
I didn't go full Omega. I'm sorry.
You didn't. No, you never go full Omega.
Crosshair, you did it!
And you went full Omega.
All right, we're done with that. But yes, you're right.
Yeah, I agree. There's going to be a moment where this all pays off, of course.
Last comment is from Twit. To use a volleyball metaphor, I hope this is the bump episode, and next week we get to set up for the spike in episode 10.
I think we're gonna.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think it is a bump episode. It kind of felt like
minor character development, minor information, background stuff that they probably could have just expositioned for us later.
Sure,
but whatever. But yeah, I think we're heading for a big payoff for this episode.
I think we're almost. I mean, we are now in the back half, so the home stretch I think is going to be episode after episode.
Fire.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think we're going to get a lot of things going on in these last few episodes, and this was kind of a pause or a deep breath between the first half of the season, which was really good, and the back half, which I'm hoping will be excellent. All right, well, I think that's going to be all we got for you this time. Now it is your turn to take to the comments below and tell us what you thought of this episode of The Bad Batch. Whatever that is, leave those comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars, and until next time, thanks for watching.